Approaches for our main event, and at the weigh-in, Lamont Roach Jr. and his opponent Orlando CRUZ looked wonderful, ready to step into the ring for a world title opportunity. One looking for a third shot. Lamont Roach is looking for his first shot on the day that he commemorates his 4th anniversary of his professional debut. Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN is presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. We bring you now inside the wonderful Coliseo de Puerto Rico, where Lamont Roach is happy to have left the continental United States and his hometown of Washington, D.C., coming to Puerto Rico for the first time, looking to make a statement.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be in Puerto Rico. It's my first time ever coming to Puerto Rico. This island is very beautiful, and eventually I want to come back and, make it so that Puerto Rico can be like a second home, I do have about 20 to 25 family members and friends coming out for the fight. They're very supportive, and I appreciate them. They know that I want to come here and make Puerto Rico my home. And I feel as though I want to bring a good show to the people who, who had, a couple tragedies done to their family and stuff. They can come out, have a good time, and while they're repairing this island. My last fight was very good. I went 10 rounds with Ray Perez, unanimous decision, won virtually every round. Ray Perez is a tough competitor. He actually came back and fought a Golden Boy prospect and knocked him off in a very, good fight. He looked very good. So, hopefully that done some credit to me. Being a top prospect on ESPN's top 20 list was, if anything, a motivational thing. I don't really mind people ranking me if it's, I don't think it's a distraction or anything like that. I embrace it. Obviously, after this fight, I want to be a contender, and I'm going to be a contender after I defeat Orlando CRUZ in such a spectacular way. So we're going to go from prospect to contender this fight.
That's the fight that will be our main event this evening. Lamont Roach Jr. looking to improve to 17 wins without a defeat, and Orlando CRUZ who's looking for that 26th victory that will get him close to another world title opportunity. He says he's focused, his mind is clear, and that he's ready to make a splash, especially because he's fighting here in Puerto Rico. So both of these men are hungry for a good performance. They know that the spotlight is on them here on ESPN. Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN from the Coliseo de Puerto Rico. The anticipation builds inside this building as people look forward to seeing Orlando CRUZ walk in and Lamont Roach make his way into this ring, both with a need to make a statement. Lamont Roach said, I've seen clips of some of his fights, to his overall game, to be honest, I think I'm a better boxer. So there's no doubt in Lamont Roach's mind what he should be able to do tonight, B-Hop.
He's confident, he's ready. CRUZ is confident, ready. Somebody's either going to be right or somebody's going to be wrong. But we will win, and the fans will win, because hopefully it'll be exciting, and I believe it will be.
And there is Orlando CRUZ ready to make his way into the ring tonight.
Orlando, el fenómeno CRUZ.
They call him the Phenom, and he said, I expect great things. I hope the fans come to support me. It's going to feel great walking into the ring at home. He lives 5 minutes away from here. That's where he grew up. And B-Hop, you know what that's like, fighting in Philly in front of your hometown fans.
Yes, it's motivation, and it can be some, depending on who it is, distraction. But if you look at this fight and you look at how it's been put together, he's been at 2 championships. He came up short. But you know what? He has the experience of not only fighting home, but he has experience at this level, and I'm pretty sure he'll be all right mentally going into this fight.
CRUZ is what people were yelling for Orlando CRUZ. He's from the area of San Juan, the metropolitan area. He said, I know the fans are going to come out here and watch me. And he's mentally focused. He said, this time I've got no excuses. I know what I'm coming for, and I'm going to do my best.
Lamont Roach Jr.
That intent look on Lamont Roach Jr.'s face said, when I'm in camp and when I step into the ring, there's the gym, there's boxing, and that is it. I go back home because my life revolves around this sport, because this is where I want to make my living. This is where I want to make my name. He's got an engineering background. He's a smart kid, but this is his passion.
It's his passion. I mean, you got Maryland, you got DC, you got that whole tri-state, you got that area of fighters, proud fighters, including him. Look, amateur pedigree, come from a fighting family, you know, his coach, he's ready.
All right, this date in boxing history, what does it mean for both of these fighters? Where Orlando Cruz in 2001, he won his second career fight here in San Juan. While in 2014, on April 19th, Lamont Roach was making his pro debut in Washington, D.C. on the undercard of Bernard Hopkins against Beirut Shumanov. All right, we take you to the Tecate tail of the tape for our main event, where you'll notice that Lamont Roach has a 2-inch height advantage, a 3-inch reach advantage. In terms of total rounds, a lot more rounds for Orlando Cruz, and the career span 13 years longer in the ring, a lot more wear and tear for Orlando Cruz. All right, Henry Lavoy is ready for the introductions in the center of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Jose Miguel Aguilar Coliseum in San Juan, Puerto Rico, this is the main event of the evening, scheduled for 10 rounds, and the vacant WBO International Junior Lightweight Championship. Presented by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and Miguel Cotto Promotions. This is Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN, sponsored by Tecate, the official beer of boxing, and Hennessy, never stop, never settle. The judges are Jose Roberto Torres, La Dama Idalia Parra, and Ramon Colon. Your referee, Luis Pavón. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó la prueba del fuego. El contacto duro en Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN, a palo limpio. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing blue and gray trunks and weighing 129.4 pounds. With 25 wins, 6 losses, and 13 wins by way of knockout. The former IBA featherweight champion of the world, from Residencial Quintana, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Orlando, El Fenomeno Cruz. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing silver and black trunks, and weighing 129.4 pounds. His professional record is 16-0, including 6 wins by way of knockout. From Washington, USA, the undefeated Lamont Roach Jr. 10 rounds of good boxing.
One with him. One with him. Okay, ven, uno con él. Okay, guys, I give you instruction in the dressing room. You have a joint match, okay? Ya le di la instrucción en el camerino. Vamos a una pelea. Suerte. Good luck.
All right, let's take a look at the rules. There are the unified rules will be in place. The no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. The fighter cannot save by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And it'll be a no decision if an accidental foul stops the bout before the completion of the 4th round.
Give me time, okay?
I'm Bernardo Osuna alongside the future Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins. This is a fight where Lamont Roach has a lot at stake. He's facing his most experienced opponent, but Orlando Cruz also is putting his career at risk as the southpaw fighter has his foot stepped on. A little wobbly here early in the 1st round.
Yeah, we sort of got warmed up with the southpaw styles tonight, but, you know, Lamont has really a lot of amateur experience that he's going to actually use. What I mean by that, when people say we're amateur, this is pros. He has speed, he has reflexes, cat-like reflexes, and he's going to see and watch everything. CRUZ has world championship level experience. He's been there twice, he fell twice, and he's hungry to succeed the next time around. This is a step towards that way for him, CRUZ, and for Lamont to what? Be in the next thing for a championship fight, the next step in competition in the level of boxing and also in the championship level.
CRUZ dropping back down to 130 pounds, his natural weight. He lost to Terry Flanagan, the British fighter. That was at lightweight. That was his second world title opportunity. His first world title shot was against Orlando City Salido. That was at 130 pounds. He was stopped by City Salido as well. Both fights were stoppages. But nonetheless, he says, I feel that now I'm a different fighter. I know that that last fight against Wonderboy Lopez, it was our co-main event winner. I was not all there. I was training in Culiacan, Sinaloa. I brought it back to basics. I went back to my old trainer, Jim Pagan, who knows me better than anybody. And we went back to basics, and my mind is clear. And he knows that this may be his final shot.
It could be, and you know, it's up to them to make sure that, you know, that is not each guy's final shot, or at least CRUZ. You know, CRUZ is comfortable. Roach has to make sure that every round that goes by, even this round starting off, that he must establish uncomfortability. He must make CRUZ be in an uncomfortable situation because he's home. And CRUZ is going to use that advantage. The crowd, the fans. You know, this is a CRUZ fan majority. So Roach is going to have to go ahead and take that away early, not later.
First headbutt of the bout between these two fighters. That happens when a southpaw and an orthodox fighter step into the ring. And we'll take a look at the numbers as the fight progresses. But coming into the fight, you know, Lamont Roach averages 60 punches per round. CRUZ under 40, so it could be economical in that sense.
Relajadito, muy bien. Sí, sí tiene ahí. Cuando te baja esa mano izquierda de él, por ahí mete la mano y esa bola.
This is Alberto Machado, the WBA 130-pound world titleist. He was sparring with Orlando CRUZ for this fight. And when we take a look at the titleist, Vasil Lomachenko will be stepping up to 135 on Top Rank Boxing on ESPN to take on Jorge Linares. That title may be vacant soon. Miguel Berchel just defended it for a second time. And Kenichi Ogawa was the IBF world titleist, but he was stripped today. So that's the latest in terms of the overall picture at 130 pounds. So the IBF has a vacancy. The WBA champion is here. So he could face the winner of this fight in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, they very, very should, and they close to doing it probably by winning. And, you know, this is an exciting division. And I'm just so happy to see all these guys get together, maybe one unification, you know, fight tournament or whatever you want to call it, so they can have one champion in every division. That's the goal, I think, of most fighters in each division.
Unfortunately, B-Hop, you were the last man to unify the titles until Terrence Crawford did it at 140 pounds. 2 decades basically had to pass between the times you were able to do it. Gennady Golovkin is a man trying to do it right now, but it's just not easy at all because every one of these world sanctioning bodies wants to have it their way instead of doing it the right way.
Yeah, and unfortunately, but the fighters got to move on and grab what they can get. Right. And you know what? If you deserve and work hard to be world champion, that's why Lamont Roach and CRUZ is at this position now to establish to go forward to get that opportunity.
Orlando CRUZ is a guy who likes to get in his opponent's ears, do different things inside the ring. to get them out of their game plan, but Lamont Roach looks extremely focused.
He looked focused, but he looks a little tight too. I think he's waiting a little longer than I expect him to. I think early on you must establish that you are the guy in control. And you know what? I think a little bit of that has to do with not warming up, and both guys came out really dry. But once the punches get thrown by both guys, CRUZ and Roach, I think that they will catch up on the rounds that they didn't come out, you know, not fast, but come out a little looser, or come out a little bit more aggressive and throw more punches. But both guys respect each other. Nice overhand right there from Lamont Roach Jr. He's starting to warm up a little bit, but I agree, just not the punch output that you would expect, especially if you're a fighter coming into Puerto Rico. You got to understand the situation. You got to have that self-awareness. And, you know, Lamont Roach Jr.'s got his work cut out for him. But I agree. CRUZ is economical with his punches. He's going to make you take the initiative, and Lamont Roach has to get comfortable doing that. Both guys are to get your rhythm, and to get in position to throw punches. You touch the shoulders, you touch the body, and that will get your hands sort of warmed up and your mind warmed up to throw combinations later. Nice left hand there from Orlando CRUZ. As round two settles in. Nice right hand there from Lamont Roach Jr. It was more of a trip than anything. It'll look good for the judges.
Double brick. Stand in front too long when I did all. Get first or get out of range. You know what I'm saying? Don't be in range if you ain't gonna fire. You gonna fire. If you're in range, ready to slip and crack. If not, don't be in range. Alright? Come on. You gotta pick it up more. Okay? You gotta make them burn. This thing got nothing for you, Ken. Okay? Alright? Let's get game plan. Body shot. I need to change this. I need 3-4 punch combination. Okay?
The difference was that hook. That hook, you're going to take his ass on the inside. When you leave that hook, pull the bricks up or shoot the brick right with it. He's facing the jump.
Tonight we're in Puerto Rico, but on Friday, May 4th, we'll be live from the StubHub Center in Carson. The return of fan favorite Ryan Flash Garcia will take on Puerto Rico's Jason Velez. Also on the card, Ireland's Gary Spike O'Sullivan in the co-main event. And in a separate bout opening the telecast, it'll be Alexis, Mr. Knockout Rocha, putting his unbeaten record on the line. That'll be at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and streaming on the ESPN app. So join us May the 4th. All right, in the corner, Lamont Roach Sr. was adamant in telling Junior, look, you've got to establish your range, and don't stay there if you're not going to fire. Pick it up. Let's see if he listens. He don't want to be in the line of fire after he throw a punch or before he throw a punch, and it was good instructions. But Lamont has to be busier now than he's been the last couple of rounds. He's the younger, fresher fighter that needs to show that. Lamont Roach, this is his second fight since the passing of his trainer Bernard Roach, who was his father's cousin. He passed away of a heart attack before his fight against Ray Perez, and his father took a bigger role now in the corner. But he says it's great because I've been training harder than ever under my dad. My dad cuts me no slack, and this is what I needed at this point of my career. So a tragedy turned into something positive. And here CRUZ, nice combination punching, but he's very, very sparse with his punches. But when he throws, he kind of lulls Roach into a sense of security. Well, CRUZ is looking to counter, and Roach is waiting a little too long, and that's why Roach is getting hit with those punches straight left from a southpaw stance. You know, Roach needs to be more aggressive to keep CRUZ on his heels. If he can keep CRUZ on his heels going backwards like that, but throwing punches, he can be effective, and he can get CRUZ in an uncomfortable position. Let me put it to you this way. Look at how even the total punches are. Not only the equal number landed, but only a 6-punch difference in punches thrown and a 2% difference in the percentage. So, I mean, it's a very, very even fight. And here's the jab, non-existent in terms of the amount landed because both fighters are just so looking for that one shot. Both fighters have warmed up the same time. And when you warm up the same time, you know, you have a close
type of numbers that we just witnessed on the screen. Both guys are warming up at the same time, so that means both hands are going to be flying from either side. And you know what? One of them will have to settle down a notch to look at the perfect shots.
I still don't think the numbers tell the story of what we're seeing in the ring here through 3 rounds in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Watch your head, watch your head.
The first headbutt of the fight.
No, hey. Sube la cabeza, sube la cabeza, okay?
Luis Pavon with a warning to Orlando Cruz. Lift up your head, says the third man in the ring. As Orlando Cruz is out of range here as round 3 comes to a close.
Time. Hey.
Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN is presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. And it's brought to you by Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. Beautiful San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we're seeing a chess match so far between Lamont Roach Jr. and Orlando Cruz through 3 rounds. We knew that it could be this way because both fighters are natural counterpunchers. But Orlando Cruz should feel a little bit of urgency in terms of what's at stake for him in this fight in his hometown.
Well, I don't think he had to fight in urgency. He just came out through a straight left. I think that Roach has to fight like he's a visitor, which he is, because you have to secure that you are here and dominate this fight if you're not a hometown guy. And, you know, that's not saying the judges is watching something different. You don't know. I think that Roach needs to be a little bit more aggressive, take a little bit more chance. This is a chance to highlight himself, what he wants, and that's a world title. You have to be the dog in this fight right now, and that is Roach.
You know that Cruz is trying to counteract. B-Hop, walk us through the headbutt we're seeing on the right as there's a push there from Cruz.
Again, often when two guys are fighting different styles, which is southpaw and orthodox, that's an often headbutt. And orthodox and southpaws fight because of the position of their bodies and how they're coming forward at each other. How to avoid that is a jab by each guy. Both guys have an opportunity to avoid those shots by what? Jabbing before they come in.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of punches landed is anemic so far, but more importantly, the jabs thrown and landed are practically not even registering in terms of CompuBox so far. But here we see Orlando Cruz trying to use angles, trying to frustrate Lamont Roach.
Cruz is too slippery and too much of a veteran to get hit with one punch. You got to trick him. You got to set him up. And Lamont is not doing that right now. He must set him up, then combinations.
Cruz making Lamont Roach miss.
See, Lamont just threw those combinations. They hit the body, they hit the arms, but you hit something. And that's the key. If he missed the first 2, if he throw 4, he's going to get the third and the fourth one. But Lamont has to throw more than one punch to hit Cruz because, like I said, Cruz is slippery, he's watching everything, and he know the angles to get in position to counter.
You see blood streaming from the nose of Lamont Roach Jr. Nice counterpunch there from Orlando Cruz, el fenómeno. Cruz looking for the opening.
Okay, stop. Nobody throw, okay? Nobody throw.
Nice left hand there from Lamont Roach Jr. Just not enough from either guy so far. As the 4th round comes to an end, we're going to take you into the corner of Lamont Roach Jr., where his father has the final word. This is the corner Hennessy cam. Never stop, never settle.
And work, all right? Come in the hole, don't let him hold, all right? Body shots gonna get him, man. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Don't load up, quick, boom, boom. Finish on top with a brick if you want to do that. But sweep, most likely Xing out, you gotta sweep it. Sweep it, sweep it. Get the pressure, yeah, what's that?
He about to start the booty.
Sí, tú eres el fuerte.
Come on, you gotta let your hands go. You just can't throw one at a time. You gotta throw several. You've got to take the initiative. You have to take the initiative and react. You've got to fight your rhythm. If you fight at your rhythm, you're going to dominate this fight. This is who you are. From Houston, Texas, loving my people, says that man. And yes, Puerto Rico, the island of enchantment. The recovery is underway, but it's not complete. Yesterday, I saw Daddy Yankee at the Indians Twins game, and he gave $1 million to the relief efforts here in Puerto Rico, but there's still a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done here in the ring. What'd you think of Lamont Roach Sr.'s instructions for Junior?
Gave him some great instructions, and those instructions was on point. Look, you have to throw punches for speed and then throw the hard ones in. And they don't want Lamont throwing big bombs starting off. They want him to do what? They want him to throw punches like that, quick, sharp punches, because he has that style where he can do that and get away with it. But if he throw hard punches at CRUZ, being slipperier, CRUZ going to do what he tried to do there, is counterpunch. He must throw punches rapid, fast, and get out and set the big ones up later. You know, Lamont can suck CRUZ into anything because CRUZ sort of go for any fakes that Lamont gives him, whether they body, whether his arms, whether his hands. He must sucker CRUZ into one of those punches he don't see.
Problem is they're both waiting, and this is the fight that CRUZ expected. This is the fight that he wanted to lull Lamont Roach into, so Roach needs to switch things up. Roach is the man who needs to take the initiative. Roach is the man who has the speed, the youth to make this a different fight, but it's easier said than done, Bernard.
CRUZ is fighting like he's Roach age, and you know, Roach is not fighting like he's old or anything. It's just that CRUZ is just fighting a different energy type of fight that I didn't expect.
When we talk about experience, Jihad, sometimes people don't understand. What do you mean experience? What can experience do for you? Well, that's what it's doing for CRUZ.
Well, it is. And what it's doing for him also is putting him in position to do what? To take this fight in championship rounds, or at least the rounds that, even though it's not a, you know, a back and forth fight right now, it's a more of a chess match, more of a drag out knockdown fight. CRUZ is doing what? Ring generalship, tying him up when he can, throwing combinations. He's more in control than Lamont is.
All right, so Lamont Roach Jr. has the ability to change the fight or win a round with just one punch, but neither guy's a big knockout artist. I mean, when you look at the percentages, 38% for Roach, 41% for CRUZ, so this could go many, many rounds. All right, Hurricane Maria happened in the month of September here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Feet of water, roofs was blown off of buildings. I was just down this street earlier today, and luckily the beach is looking nice. The construction is improving. Ponce, Puerto Rico was struck. I mean, the entire landmass was covered by Hurricane Maria. The photo of 24th of July of 2017 before the hurricane, a couple days after the hurricane, post-Hurricane Maria, very little of the island had lights. Fortunately, that has changed, although we had a big blackout yesterday. Nonetheless, the island is in recovery mode. The people are as resilient as ever. They're as loving, they're as nice, and you're not going to be able to keep them down. And when you look at the people themselves, it's a metaphor for what we're seeing in the ring. You're not going to be able to keep Orlando Cruz down, and Lamont Roach really needs to take the initiative and seize the moment here if he really wants to keep his unbeaten record.
Okay, stop.
Yeah, Maria might have knocked him down, but they didn't knock San Juan out, and they fight. And Lamont now needs to fight more inside and make this fight more of not a chess match, but more of youth, more of what he has the advantage to do. And if he don't know that, Lamont, then he will be playing behind CRUZ, jab, slickness, ring generalship. These are the things that CRUZ's experience is showing right now, Bernardo.
You know, they say styles make fights. As Lamont Roach Jr. finally throws a 3-4 punch combination, something he's done sparingly here, as CRUZ does what he does best and counter punch. Is this style matchup bad for Lamont Roach Jr. because he's not a go-get-him type of fighter?
So far it is, and CRUZ is more the go-getter. He's more try to bait you in, but still put pressure on you. CRUZ, if you notice, he put mental pressure. He comes like he's coming, but he don't commit himself to get countered. But Lamont is not taking advantage of the opportunities when he get them. Like far as right now, Lamont right now needs to throw his hands when he get close to CRUZ. He's not doing that. He's waiting to duck.
Excellent point, and you got two people posing, and it's not really benefiting CRUZ, especially because of something you mentioned early on in this fight. He's in CRUZ's hometown. He's in his country, and you have to know coming in that that's a strike against you.
CRUZ is comfortable in fighting this style, fighting this way, and he's going to get braver every round as long as this fight stays at this magnitude. Lamont must change the pace and the mentality of this fight right now, this round. Round number 6, he must go and put the pressure on CRUZ and make him fight a different fight. And how you do that? He has to go to the body more, he has to take more risks early, protect himself, but also throw more than one punch.
Luis Pavon with a warning against Lamont Roach Jr. for hitting the back of Orlando Cruz. Lamont says, hey, he was bringing me in, cupping me with the overhand right, as CRUZ lands a solid right hand to the chin of Roach. Neither guy has much knockout power in the low blow from Roach Jr. as CRUZ continues to pull him in. He told us in the fighter meetings, I'm going to try to get him out of his game. I'm going to play with him mentally, and that's what he's trying to do here in round 6. He hadn't done much of that early on, but he wants to change the tide and maybe get this young man to fall into his trap. All right, round 6 comes to an end here in San Juan, Puerto Rico, May 4th. Live at the StubHub Center in Carson, Ryan Garcia, the Flash, will take on Puerto Rico's Jason Velez in our main event. And also on the card, we'll have Ireland's Gary Spike O'Sullivan. That'll be at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. You can also see that on ESPN Deportes, streaming on the ESPN app, and you can watch us on ESPN2. The fans made it an evening here at the Coliseo of Puerto Rico, the largest indoor venue in all of the island, and it's been an interesting night because Lamont Roach Jr. has a lot at stake, Vihab, as does Orlando Cruz. But it doesn't seem that Lamont Roach Jr. is putting it into that second and third gear. You can just look at the face of his cornerman, exhorting him to step it up.
Well, I look at the face of Lamont, and Lamont seems to be, again, I don't know, can't read his mind, but his body language shows that he's real frustrated, and only he know that, but he has to fight through that. And this is part of what? Part of making those adjustments, part of changing the way things are that you don't like. And this is the time he has to figure it out and find it out. And I've seen him do this. Can he do it tonight? You know, and this is going to be the round to show it on towards the end of the fight, because he has to let his hands go like he just did, but he has to do it not only from the beginning, he has to continue to do it often than CRUZ.
You mentioned, Bernard, something very important at the beginning of this fight. The fact that against Ray Perez, Lamont Roach Jr. had to overcome adversity. That was being hurt in the second round. But here's another adversity. Being in a fight that's so even, where you're both landing 22% of your punches, there's only one punch landed difference between one and the other. I mean, this is as close a fight. And if he doesn't step into gear, he's letting the judges decide what's going to happen with his future, and that's not what you want for a young fighter.
Well, this is where that you never want to be in this position back to back to back, but you also want to learn that you have it in you. And you know what? Lamont Roach has it in him. He has to really do it now. I've seen some rounds as close. I mentioned it in the first beginning of this fight, this round rather. He got to push the gas pedal to the floor and step it up from here on out. CRUZ has the same mentality. He's looking to throw punches and counter himself, and he's doing it effectively.
We knew this would be CRUZ's plan coming into this fight. He knows what he's looking for. Just that one shot to steal a round. Those couple of shots that make him look good, and Roach is having to overextend himself to get out of that comfort zone. Not doing enough of it yet, but it looks like the 7th round is a lot better for him.
And you can tell when you got a veteran in the ring, when he gets the crowd cheering, whether he hit the target or not, CRUZ makes sure that he entertained outside of the ring, which can, look, it can be effective not only in Lamont thinking that maybe he got a shot in, which he probably didn't, but the crowd, your hometown, you getting punches in, and things that seem to go your way. All this is a mental warfare that can play in CRUZ's favor.
Yeah, and if you can get the judges to start believing they saw something they didn't see just because they heard the reaction, then that's positive for Orlando CRUZ, because in the end, it's such a close fight. I mean, it's probably a mirror image one of the other in terms of what we're seeing in the ring. There's very little differentiating, and that's what Lamont Roach needs to do more of. That's what the corner wants, more activity, and that'll be on him to continue to do that as this round comes to an end. All right, Saturday, April 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, Top Rank Boxing returns with our main event featuring the junior featherweight title fight between the champion Jesse Magdaleno, making his second defense of the WBO title against interim title holder Isaac Dogbo of Ghana. The coverage of the undercard starts at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. You can always stream all the bouts live on the ESPN app. This is CRUZ coming back, V-Hop.
I think CRUZ smell blood. He's definitely see blood. Lamont has blood coming out, and he's celebrating to the crowd. He's getting the crowd hyped. That helps him. That also might influence the judges.
Here's a miss from Orlando CRUZ, and here's the counter from Roach. But a lot of missing, too.
Well, all misses. None of those punches connected. The referee didn't see anything foul, so he didn't say anything. Those punches that this was thrown in the wind.
All right, we're stepping into the 8th round here of this Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN main event. Lamont Roach has been the 8th round distance 3 times, all wins, been the 10-round distance twice, also won both of those decisions.
Both guys just got warned, or at least a look from the referee that they almost butt heads again, based on coming out and not throwing a jab and just about ran into each other. And, you know, no cuts, I don't believe. But, you know, Lamont Roach have to win, I believe, these rounds impressively, just to at least show that he's ready for this next level, and maybe have a bigger factor into the fight on the outcome. CRUZ got to be thinking the same thing, but he seems to be more confident, more comfortable. Throwing combination, 3 straight left hands that didn't get answered by Lamont Roach.
No, look, Lamont Roach is a cerebral fighter. He is an engineering student. He's a young man. Is he overthinking things in the ring?
I think he's thinking too long, which is his reaction is playing out right here on national TV. He must let his hands go. And that's what his corner has been saying since the 4th, maybe the 5th round. Lamont Roach has the ability, the skills to let his hands go, but he's waiting for one big shot. And you know what? CRUZ is no dummy. He's not going to sit there and wait for one punch to come.
I mean, we mentioned the fact that both of these guys have under 40% of their wins by knockout. So when you look at that, I mean, it's rare but neither of these guys has a lot of pop in their punches. When you look at the last knockout for Lamont Roach, that happened in January of 2017 against Guillermo Valdez. For Orlando CRUZ, his last knockout win was against Gabino Cota in 2016, so it's been a minute.
Both of these guys rely on skills and conditioning because they're not knockout punchers. And most knockout punchers know that they can go the distance. They know they can go ahead and beat a guy just on ring generalship. And both guys, you know, have been successful. But at this point, for Lamont Roach, he has to be a little different, a little out of character to try to go ahead and at least win these last couple of rounds, or at least the last 2 rounds.
Nice jab there from Lamont Roach, and then he kind of just holds that right hand there, kind of holding himself back when he should be landing it and trying to throw it. So in the end, maybe a better round for Lamont Roach here in the 8th, but if you look at ring generalship and who's making the opponent fight their fight, it's Orlando CRUZ.
CRUZ is being himself. You watch every fight, he's being himself. Lamont has to be different.
All right, round 8 coming to a close, and we'll see what the last 2 bring.
The long break work. They just should have faked. The hook will catch him though. The hook will catch him. Okay? Hey, let's work. Let's go.
In CRUZ's corner, they're saying, hey, you need this round. Go get it. I mean, there's a sense of urgency in each corner, and I think a sense of frustration being hopped in Roach's corner that he hasn't taken that step, that he hasn't proven that he's got that extra gear.
And I agree with his corner. He needs this round here. He needs the next 2 rounds, I think, to at least show that he has a chance on winning this fight. It's close. I don't think he's losing by any long stretch, but these 2 rounds could be a big factor. What do you think, Renato?
I've got Lamont Roach up, but it's very close. I mean, the numbers bear this out, that he's landed just 7 more punches than CRUZ, who's a notoriously economic puncher. So that means that instead of you throwing at least 50 punches per round, he's brought you down to his punch output level, and that doesn't speak well for what Lamont Roach is trying to prove tonight in terms of being an elite fighter.
I just think that Lamont did himself a little disservice by not coming out earlier and taking a lead where CRUZ had to fight his way up to meet that type of speed and ring generalship. You know, let CRUZ play behind the 8 ball. Let him try to catch up with you. CRUZ is not the fighter that you let take the lead in rounds and try to catch up with him. He's slick, he's cagey, he has plenty of experience, and he's playing that right now.
I mean, both of these guys are basically playing with fire, because so many of these 9 rounds, or the 8 completed rounds in the beginning of this round, can go to just one punch, one combination. Just, you're really allowing the judges to make a decision based on maybe that combination, and that could win the round for CRUZ. So now let's see what Lamont Roach comes back with, because it's CRUZ who's taking the initiative here.
And this could be the round when Lamont Roach has to throw punches within those punches. Right now, he's not throwing anything, of course, but he needs to throw them.
Oh, big left hand! It buckled CRUZ, and here he goes down with the right hand. Oh, it's a slip, says the referee. He's in Puerto Rico. It happens, Bernard. It looked like a knockdown, but let's see what Lamont Roach does. He's making CRUZ pay, and now he looks to the referee, Luis Pavone, and says, hey, push me. He says, no, you're doing it, but that's intelligence from CRUZ.
CRUZ is hurt. Legs is really not stable. Lamont worked the body. work the body, he will now be in that position to say he's ready. And he has to work the body. Look, CRUZ is doing the veteran move. He's staying out of the way. You never fight hurt.
And Roach is posing just as much as CRUZ is instead of going at him. And there he has him in the corner. And you just saw what we mentioned earlier. Experience come to bear here in the 9th round. I think it's a round that Lamont Roach will take. But the fact that in such a close fight, he's not given a 10-8 round could make a huge difference. Another referee admonishes Lamont Roach Jr. as he goes back to his corner. Let's take a look at how the flow changed in this round, B-Hop.
It started off with what? A right hand, a left hand by CRUZ, and then CRUZ come forward again because he had success. But now you will see Lamont with the left short that CRUZ didn't see. It was 6 inches, sort of check left hook, and it was right on the right side of CRUZ. But when you see the different position, watch how Lamont wait right there. He waits for the shot and he lets it go. This is where you set a southpaw up in that position.
That was a knockdown, though. I mean, the punch hurt him. It made him wobble. He tried to hold, and then when he finally got some separation, he fell on his own. That should have been a 10-8 round, no doubt.
Lamont has an opportunity to get this fight over with now. Why? I just seen CRUZ, stagger back to his corner before they come out to this round. He's not on steady legs fully right now. He's not recovered fully.
Yeah, but will Lamont Roach Jr. take advantage of the fact that his opponent, Orlando CRUZ, is in trouble? Now we finally see the power punches going in the favor of Lamont Roach Jr. Too little, too late. He has a chance to change that perception.
But he can't go in there head hunting. He has to set it up with the body and then work his way up. That's how he sort of got that knockdown. He cannot hit CRUZ with one big shot up top. CRUZ right now is in survival mode. Lamont has to touch him with that jab, touch him soft, and then go hard with the last 2 or 3 punches because CRUZ is slippery and he has his wits now and he's trying to stay away and not avoid a conflict.
Nice left hand there from Lamont Roach Jr., but it's not a one-shot punch that he can put down CRUZ with. He doesn't have knockout power, but he does have the ability to overwhelm Orlando CRUZ here in the 10th round, but it's got to be combination punches. There is a nice left hand, lands on the chin of CRUZ, who takes it well, and here comes the right. This is where Lamont Roach Jr.'s youth can come to bear.
Lamont is not a heavy-handed puncher, but he's a sharp puncher. He will get you and can get your respect if he hits you, but he has to let those hands go, just like he did, but he got to trap CRUZ in a corner. That right leg has to go to the left side of CRUZ to keep him in that corner. He's letting CRUZ sneak out the left side and the other back door from the right side.
Nice overhand right there from Lamont Roach Jr. as round 10, after an explosive round 9, finally has some drama. The fans are into it, and this has finally become a good fight as Lamont Roach Jr. lands an overhand right once again. That's his shot. What else can he do to set that up or follow it up?
Well, we'll see, but CRUZ is not going to be an easy crack, safe to crack, because CRUZ has been in this position. He's been in it many times, and guess what? He's still in this fight, and he know it. And guess he's waiting to see, can he get a counter left hand in it? Look for CRUZ to throw a left hand straight down the pipe and try to catch Lamont with it coming in.
Lamont cannot get careless either because this is a very close fight. It's been ebb and flow. Very little dominance from either fighter as now CRUZ, maybe he lands, maybe he doesn't, but the crowd's into it, and that'll help his cause.
Both guys in position to get knocked down because both guys have thrown a lot of punches and low-winded.
How will Lamont Roach Jr. and Orlando CRUZ finish out this 10th round? In the balance.
I'm here.
Look at me, and finally a little bit of congratulations and respect from one another. Another close round here after 10, and we shall see what the Puerto Rican judges have on their scorecards. And anything can happen, B-Hop.
Anything can happen, but hope the right thing happens. I mean, the worst case scenario, it could be a draw, but this fight is really some rounds like was very close.
There are.
And again, both sides had their moments, and the last 2 rounds was the most exciting rounds of the fight.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll see what the judges have. Who won this fight? Was it Lamont Roach, who stays undefeated, or Orlando CRUZ, the hometown fighter?
See where the knockdown come in. Here's the 7th knockdown, but Lamont just rolling, waiting for an opportunity, but he gets it right in the next round.
Close. El cierre, el cierre. 5. Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. To me, this could be the difference. Even though it wasn't an official knockdown, B-Hop, to me, it gives Lamont Roach Jr. the fight. What are your thoughts on what we saw?
If it wasn't an official knockdown, I believe you, then it should have been. This might have been the thing that really sealed the deal, because it was some close rounds and Lamont had to fight his way back. This might have been the knockdown that got him the win.
I've got it 96-94. Lamont Roach Jr. thinks he won it. How do you see the fight?
I see the fight being close. I give it a Lamont split decision.
All right, we'll see what the ring announcer, Henry LeBoy, says the judges have on their score.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 rounds of good boxing, let's go to the scorecards. Judge Jose Roberto Torres scores it 97-93, Lamont Roach Jr. Idalia Parra scores it 96-94, Orlando El Fenómeno CRUZ. And Ramon Colon scores it 95-95. We have a draw. It's a draw.
Bernard Hopkins called a draw earlier in this fight, and Orlando CRUZ is celebrating like he won this fight. This is a fight in his hometown. Imagine if that knockdown had been counted, that draw would not exist. But at the end of the day, I think Lamont Roach is going to look back at this fight and say, had I done what I did in rounds 8 and 9 and 10, this fight could have been a lot different, B-Hop.
Yeah, and both guys, you know, I mean, CRUZ probably think that he could have done better too, but Lamont had to look at this and learn from what he didn't do that he needed to do next time.
I think he had a missed opportunity. Tonight, for me, was a night of missed opportunities for young prospects. One, in our main event, Lamont Roach Jr., he allowed this fight to get into the fight that Orlando CRUZ wanted to fight. And in our co-main event, Jose Lopez, although he came away with a wide victory, he could have been more impressive against Miguel Angel Gonzalez.
But I want to see this fight again.
You do?
I want to see this fight again.
I want to see the last 3 rounds, and that's it. We have the other 7 rounds.
Settled. We got him settled.
All right, we invite you to join us May the 4th as Ryan Garcia, the Flash, will take his biggest step up so far, taking on Puerto Rico's Jason Velez. And we'll also have Spike O'Sullivan. That'll be on May the 4th at the StubHub Center in Carson at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 and streaming on the ESPN app. All right, it's been a good night from San Juan, Puerto Rico for future Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins, the entire Golden Boy Media and Entertainment team. I'm Bernardo Osuna. Well, I hope you join us on May the 4th. Coming up next, it's Nacion ESPN, a bilingual show from Los Angeles. Until then, we'll see you next time from Carson.